In this video, we'll be discussing about profile in Spring Boot applications. So you have heard a lot about development environment, production environment, and when you will be working in a real life applications, you have the set of properties which will work for the development and set of properties that will work for the production environments. So in this video, we'll not only cover how to use profile annotation in a Spring Boot application or how to enable either development profile or a production profile in the Spring Boot application. Also, we'll covering up that this is one of the most asked interview question, like what is profile and how to enable it in any type of backend interview or Java interview or any type of Spring Boot interview. So let's get started with the video. So before going ahead with the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel to get videos on Spring Boot microservices, REST API, and feel free to share any feedback on the comment. So let's get started. So I'll go to first initializer, Spring initializer. Before going to the Spring initializer, let's understand a scenario. So, for example, you are working in a real life application. For example, you are making a product similar to like Zomato. So, it is one of the food delivery app you are making. So, you have set up properties for this environment, like that will run on the production, and set up properties that will run on the development. And if any new features come, okay, so for example, you want to have a new features called a 5-star rating in your services. So what happened that the developer will develop those endpoint or the API, and to test that general test that they will not test it with the production database, they will not hit any production data points. So as it will may affect the applications, and there will be some data loss as well. So and also it is 100% sure that most of us won't have access to the production database. Okay, so to test that whether it is working first for our development environment, so we'll run the development properties along with the applications. Initially, like basically, the whatever the applications you are having, the code will be same, but the structure, or we can say the properties that the application will be consuming, so that will be different based on whether it is a production, a development, or you are running on the local environment. Pre-prod, there's a lot of terms we can use. So first of all, for that reason, just I will create a simple web applications, and I will try to show you what are the structure and that are followed in the industrial level. So let me create that. So I'll go to the Spring initializer. I will be using similar like Java and Spring Boot 3 and yeah, Java 17 version. So I will create a application called group ID called com.the deep developer, and artifact I will name it as profile use case in real time or real life applications. I'll make it as package jar and 17. So I'll just create a web app. For that we need a web dependency, and we will be having some MySQL driver, because I just want to show you that for the production, while you are working for the production properties, so that production DB will run, and when you are running for the development properties, then development uh, MySQL will be run. So for that I'm adding this. So I will generate this project and I will open in IntelliJ. Let me do that. So we see that this profile project has been imported. I'll go to this pom.xml file, and I'll do right click to add as Maven project. Then I'll add as Maven project. Then it will reload all the dependencies to our local system. So till then, if you are still watching the videos, I request you please subscribe to the channel. And if you face any issue like understanding or initializing this project, you can ask those in the comment sections. So if you go to this source section, we see in the main, in the resource, there is a properties called the application properties. So in this application properties, this is the main properties file that will be loaded, because in general the code, either it is development or it is a production environment, but the properties file it will be changes. So I'll create the two properties file. So this is the default properties file that will be running, or the Spring runs. So to create a different properties file for the production, so I'll click on copy, go to this paste. So naming conversion will be application. That is the must. It should be run. Then if it is a production, then I will just do prod. So application hyphen, then whatever the development you are using, it is dev environment or production or pre-prod or local or a QA environment, you can put that text dot properties, and I will create another called development. So application as a dev. So I have created these two properties called development. Then I will just rename this application just properly. Then I will rename it, and I will do some a database connection for username, password, and database. So let me do that. So I have just renamed it with this application dot properties file with just application name as profile, and I have created data source or the database URL or database name is named as an employee default DB, and some username password. Similarly, I have created a prod with pod will be run on port 8081, and I have named it something, and I have added some different DB for this production, and for the development it is run on 8082 port, and the DB name is emp-dev-db. So I will just run the application, and I will show you that what in the logs, what are the application name by default it is showing, and what are the port by default it is running. So let me run the application and show you that. So if we see that the application is running fine, and if we check the first log, so starting no active profile set fallback to default. So by default it will application will take the properties file called application.properties if I did not set any uh, properties, if I did not tell the string to activate which profiles. So and if we check that it is running on 8080 port, it is running on 8080 port, it is the default, and the application name you can see that profile where these things are coming, these things are coming from application.properties. Okay, so let me do some changes. So to activate any profile, to activate what this Spring Boot will load on running the application. So for example, it is the production. So and if I see that application hyphen prod is there, na, so I will go to there and I will write as the Spring profile dot active equal to prod. So it will activate the prod profile. So in prod profile, what is the name? Name is the employee production, port is 81. So if I rerun this application, then we can see that port and as well as the active profile has been changes to, instead of default it will show to prod. Let me rerun the application. I stop it and return. Now application is run successfully, and if we see that the profile, one profile is active, that is the prod. Where how this is getting, it is initially looking for application.properties file, and it is saying that equal to properties is being activated. So it will equal to prod is being activated, so the prod properties will be fetched. So this thing will be fetched, whatever the application icon prod properties it is details is there, it will fetch there. And if you see that, and it is running on 8081 port, because the production is running on 8081, and if you see that name is employee hyphen production, the name is showing employee hyphen production. So if next, if you want to, like when you are working and if you want to test your code, so obviously it will run for the developments, then you will convert it as a development. And so this is the most things asked on the profile, uh, how to activate the profile. Next will be, I will be introduce you about at the rate profile annotation. So what is the use of that? For example, you are, because this thing is not dependent on your code, so code will be same, And at the rate profile annotation, for example, if you have specific classes, or if we can say the specific bean or component or a object, anything, whatever you can say, and if you want to activate that for a specific we can say specific environment, for a test environment or dev environment, so that you can do that using at the rate profile annotation. Let me do some code on here on the main project. Let me write that code and I'll show you. Before that, I will stop the application. I have created one component called MySQL connection component. So this will only run when the profile is prod. So and if we check that, I have injected one values from Spring data source URL and the Spring data source URL. So it is initially look for this, and as it is a development environment set, so it will go to this development properties, and this part will be printed, will be injected for that value. Then I will go back to there, and I have created one simple object, uh, so that will constructor, so that will just print, and just to and this component annotation, what it will do, it will create the bean. So this bean will only be created during the production environment when the profile is set to prod. And I have mentioned a post construct annotation. So after creating of the beans, before doing anything that bean can do, so it will just run this method. So now I have set the profile is dev. So if I run this application, will we be getting these things? So let me know on the comment section or not. Let me run the application, then I'll show you. Now the application is started, as we have set the where profile as a dev, and if we check the log, so it is properly set to dev, and it will dev is running on which port? 8082 port. So it is running on 8082 port, but there is no statement printing as MySQL connection component being created. So because it is beans will be created for the production environment or the prod environment. So to run this, I will just do a small changes, and I will show you that that will actually work. So I will change it to prod, and I will rerun the application. So now we see that application is run, and as I have set to prod profile, so it is prod profile is activated, and prod is running on 8081. So prod is running on 8081. So it will, and if we see this statement, MySQL connection component bin is created. And if we go to down, so if we see that MySQL connection bin is created, and the prod db is emp prod db. So why this statement is created now? Because I have specifically mentioned that for prod profile only or the prod environment only, create this bin. So that's why this is being created. So that's all. So with the video, so first it will application will look for this application.properties file, and whatever the things is there, and if it will run, and if there is any active profile mentioned called prod or anything, so it will go to that profile, and it will override whatever the things is there. So as because by it is giving us employee default db, and in the prod it is mentioning the employee prod db, so it will just override to this application dot properties files. So please subscribe to the channel to get the videos on Spring Boot, microservices, REST API, and thank you for watching the video.